Hello class, it's Mr. Ng. I made a short little video to show you how to deal with your data in Google Sheets. I have a lot of things already set up. If you look over here, this should look kind of similar to what you have inside your lab books already. I have my columns already written in. All you got to do is type on it and type in the things, right? I got T1, T2, T3, my 3 trials. I have my average and percent error. Some of you already did the average. That's cool, but I want to show you how to do it in Sheets so it's much faster for you. And then here I said that it did not melt, and I'll show you some little tricks. So the first thing I want to do with all this stuff is I just want to make it neater, just because that's just how I live, right? So first thing I would do is I would give it some borders that looks nice, right? If you didn't catch that, all I did was I highlighted this and I clicked on this thing that said borders just so I could have a border. So it looks like an actual table. Helps me out when I copy and paste it later on into my lab sheet. And then I'm going to highlight this top row and I'm just going to fill it in so it looks nice. Baby blue looks good. Yeah, actually it doesn't. I'm going to do, ooh, yeah, powder blue. Much better. Okay, so it looks kind of good. Next thing I might want to do is I might want to make these things go across. So here, another little trick that you could do with Sheets is if you click on a cell, not the arrow, not the hand, but this little cross, you can hold it down and drag it across, and that'll copy and paste for you. It's actually a very smart function. It's going to do more things than that. So now I have all my data here, and I just need to find the averages and the percent error. I have my data. I did some quick formatting. How do I find the average? To find the average, it's a very quick little procedure. First, you type in the equal sign. This is huge, right? You type in the equal, and look, Google is so smart. It already figured out what you might want to do. You might want to find the average between B2 and D2, which is exactly right. Thankfully, we set up the table in a way that's really logical, and Google already figured it out. So you could type that in, press enter, and ta-da, you have a nice little average already. Another way for you to do it, let's walk through the logic here. Equal sign. The function for finding the average, if you could believe it, is to type in the word average, the whole word average, right? And then Google's going to give you some suggestions. If you want to click on this, that's fine, so it looks nice. You need to have parentheses, so parentheses. And then I'm going to average between T1 and T3, so I'm going to go T1 all the way. I'm holding down Shift to T3, right? Or it's hard for us to kind of drag and click with the Chromebooks. So one way to do it is to click on B2, click on this one, hold down the Shift button, and then click on D2. You see that? And then Google just kind of puts it in for you nice and neat. If that doesn't work out for you, you could just type it in. You could just do semicolon D2, and again, you see these guys here are highlighted. Those are the ones we want to average. Close parentheses, press enter. That is our average. And as you can see, the numbers are really close together. So these numbers are very precise, right? That's something that we've talked about. Precision means are the numbers close together. As opposed to these guys are not very precise. Look, you got 100, you got 200, you got 190. And some of you have very imprecise numbers. So let's find the average here. You know, I could type in everything. I could type in equal, average, blah, 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 right? But I don't need to. Now that I did one formula, the great thing about Sheets is I could just go right here. You know how we like dragged across did not melt? I could drag down the same formula, right? And by just going down to this little box and dragging down. And look, completely different numbers. And if you're just looking at it, yeah, that's kind of the average, right? 100, 190, 260. That looks like the average, right? How did I do that? I'll do Control Z. All I did was I grabbed this little box on the bottom, right? I clicked on the box here. This little dot here, I want to hover over it, not the arrow, not the little hand, but this little cross, and I hold down and I pull down. Hooray, hurrah, right? If that doesn't work out for you, another way for you to do it, let's delete this, is you could click on this, do Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. Same thing. Great. And then here, I mean, what are we going to do? It did not melt, so I just NA here. That's good. So I have these averages. They look kind of ugly to me. So I'm going to click on this format. That way, it doesn't look all dumb. And here, now it looks a lot nicer instead of these like infinite significant figures, right? So now it's to the hundredth, it looks a lot nicer. So these are my averages. So next thing I got to do is I got to find the percent error. Are my averages close to what they should be? And I'm going to tell you the actual melting point. The actual melting point for butter should be around 35. Right? So here I'm going to write in theoretical. 35. And for sugar, it should be 185. Okay? And here I have the formula for percent error. Right? Percent error is the theoretical minus the experimental. Our average is basically going to be our experimental. Right? This is what we found in lab. Right? These are what you actually found through the experimental. Right? I'm going to make this so you could actually see that word. Versus the theoretical divided by the theoretical. So here, I'm going to do an equal sign. And now I need the theoretical minus the experimental. So I'm going to put parentheses. This is the theoretical, which is 35. Right, I just clicked on it. Right, I'm not going to even type in 35. Minus the experimental, which is this one here. Right, you kind of picking up what I'm putting down here. I'm just kind of clicking where it is, like where I'm just kind of substituting in the little cells for the actual numbers. And then I need to divide this whole thing by the theoretical. So I'm going to do divided by, right, the theoretical, which is this guy again, G2. Good. And then if you can see, this whole thing is an absolute value. So I'm going to do parentheses around the entire sucker. So I'm going to click over here. And then before it, I'm going to write ABS, abs. Abs means absolute value. Good. So, and then if I multiply by 100, it'll give me a percentage, which is nice. So I could do that. I could do multiply. Oops, not 8. Multiply. All right, the little asterisk means multiply 100 equal to. Good. So that's a great percent error. I have a 3% error, which is awesome. Right? Drag it down like I taught you. And this one is an even lower percent error, 0.85. That's awesome. You guys will not have such nice percent errors. Your percent errors would be like in the 20s or the 50s because, well, I'm going to be honest with you, I made these numbers up. I knew the actual things, and I wanted to have both very accurate numbers. So that's one way to do percent error. Look, the numbers are kind of cruddy, so I could do the same thing. Highlight here, and then just make them into numbers. Boom. However, I like having the little percentage sign there just because I like those small details. Another way to do it is to not include the 100. Get out of here, 100, right? And then, not right here, let's not include the 100. Get out of here, okay? And then instead, I want you to format this and put in the percentage sign. Boom. Same thing, right? Same thing, and now it's got a nice little percentage sign. It makes it look nice. I appreciate that. There you go. I taught you guys how to format a little. To format, you just kind of click on this button here for borders. Click on this button here to fill in. And then to do the average, we are using the function average equal average. And then highlight things we want to average. Press enter. Drag down so that you can copy and paste. And the percent error, it's basically this formula. You could pause it right here. But this formula only works if you've set up the theoretical right next to it like I did here. I hope that helps. Let's set up these charts, and then let's get these things into Drive, into your doc. Ooh, one last thing. To get it into your doc, what do? You highlight the whole bit, and then you just copy it, go into your Word document, and then you paste it right in, and you're all done. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your lab write-ups.